Latson and the Florida State Seminoles. Well, she has a nice bid for being freshman of the year. She's continuing that campaign, and especially after a nice upset win against number 11 NC State, 91-72. This was really a no contest after the first half. Very good game for Florida State. I think we're starting to see that chemistry start to show up here with this Florida State squad. They moved to 16-3. They take the Wolfpack to 13-4. Once number 11, obviously you're going to see that sliding down. I think it's time to start talking about Florida State being a ranked team, but this team looked really good in this one as they move on and get a big win in ACC play, Steve.
Yeah, and they just kept the pressure up. I mean, there was a point, coming out of at a halftime in the third quarter, they went up 9-0, and I think it was a 21-5 run at one point. Sometimes games like this happen and a team just gets in that rhythm. I don't think that NC State necessarily played poorly. I think Florida State was just geared up for this game. And like you said, I'm surprised they weren't ranked already. And I think we're going to, like you said, we're going to see that certainly in this next rankings. I don't remember who they play this weekend, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think that they've just shown when, especially at home, when they get the foot on the accelerator, they just run over their opponents.
Yeah, they do play on Sunday. They do play Louisville, who just lost a tough one to ranked Virginia Tech. They lost a close one by 2 tonight. So they'll be looking for a win. Obviously, they'll have to get by Louisville, I think, to please the crowd of the AP voters if the votes aren't already counted by then. It's a Sunday 1:00 game, so we'll probably have some voters make their decision beforehand, because Sunday is when they send it in. So you never know how that one's going to work out. So I think Florida State has a good chance at being ranked in this one. But when you talk about the performance of NC State compared to Florida State, I mean, it really just came down to shooting. I mean, it's really what it came down to. I will give a shout out to NC State. They limited their turnovers. They only had 4. Florida State had 13. They still found a way to win this game with 13 turnovers, losing that turnover battle by 9. However, Florida State shot 56% from the entire field, 38% from three-point line. In comparison to the Wolfpack, only 37% from the field, 27% from the three-point line, and free throws. It really wasn't too bad. When you look at the percentages, 75% for the Wolfpack, 82% for Florida State, but they really only missed 2 and 3 respectfully. North Carolina State, watch that. Be careful there. Needs to just get to the line more. I think they need to be a little more aggressive there. They got crushed on the rebounding game, 45-31. I mean, overall, Florida State just outplayed the number 11 ranked team in the country.
Yeah, and then you made a good point about getting to the line more. I mean, if you're getting 17 attempts compared to 8, odds are you're going to be scoring more points from the line. And again, so they got 14 points from the line. Looking at the rebounding numbers, I'm surprised that the offensive rebounds weren't higher for Florida State. But again, they won the rebounding battle, and they moved the ball well, and they're just relentless. I mean, they're the highest scoring team, in the ACC at 87 points. So they beat their season average. I think they're third in the nation overall in team scoring. And you put up a 91 spot against anybody, especially in the ACC, odds are you're going to come out ahead. But why is it that Florida State has not gotten consideration really in the rankings at all? I want to say we touched on this in an earlier segment, back in December, but why is it that they're still getting no love? Is it that they're looking at the ACC and think it's just not as good as everybody thought it was going to be, or is it just writers being dopes?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might just be the latter on that one, to be honest. If you look at on the women's side, if you look at the voting, especially for the AP Top 25, there are not many teams that get the other receiving votes. It feels like a lot of people are cheating off other people's tests, if I'm being completely honest. So, but if you look at Florida State, they lost to Oklahoma State in the Cancun Challenge by 2. That was their first loss in November. In December, they did lose to UConn in the Hall of Fame Women's Showcase. They did lose that game by 8 points, 85-77. They looked good for the majority of it, but UConn Obviously, a better team in that one. And then just last week, they lost an overtime matchup to Boston College, 77-71. I would say arguably that's probably their worst loss of the year. Maybe you could give Oklahoma State the nod for that one. This was an overtime loss, though, but they definitely rebounded great against NC State here. I honestly, I don't see them having any trouble against Louisville on Sunday. Now, Louisville obviously just gave a tough run to the Hokies, losing by 2, but this one's at the Tucker Center in Tallahassee on Sunday afternoon, and I just don't see Florida State slowing down anytime soon. With the exception of Boston College, they have now they're on a pretty decent winning streak, with the exception of that one Boston College loss. They've won 5 of their last 6 games. So, I mean, that's really impressive for Florida State, 16-3 now. We are going to see them ranked. I don't think that's a problem or anything to really worry about. I'm really excited about that freshman. I let off with it at the beginning of this broadcast. I thought Latson did a fantastic job. I think that she is going to be the freshman player of the year. She's 5th in scoring, 24.7 points per game. She's averaging 5 rebounds. She's averaging almost 4 assists. She's shooting almost 50% from the field, and she's only a freshman. 5'8" freshman out of Miami, Florida. She's doing a fantastic job this season. This was one of her better games. Now, she scored some fantastic points in some other games. Clemson, Georgia Tech, she was over 30 as well. She struggled against Boston College in that overtime loss, but she bounced back just fine in this one with 31 points, just shy of her career high in her very short career. But she's doing a lot of great things for this team with the Seminoles, and I think we are in right now. I think we're seeing the potential, and I'm really high on it. The freshman player of the year, not just for the ACC.
No, yeah, no, I'm with you there. I mean, she really has. Again, you said she had a couple of bad games. I mean, everybody does, but I mean, I really do think that she has been the most consistent freshman all year long, and she's a great compliment to Sarah Bajeti. I think Bajeti, for me, that's the player that's going to take this team deep into any kind of tournament run, whether it be the WNIT or the NCAA's. But I mean, when you have that kind of high energy component in your backcourt, Bajeti can kind of settle in. I think overall, I think she's a better 3-point shooter. I think and that will be the thing where when you need the 3-pointer late in the game. I think it's going to go to Sarah Bajeti, but then Latson is going to who's going to drive the paint. She's going to force the tempo, and I think Latson is a big reason that they are leading the ACC in scoring per game and that they're so high nationally. I think she just was that missing dynamic on the squad that pulled everything together. They do have a good front court. I think Timpson's is one of the better rebounders in the conference. So, I mean, hats off to Florida State. NC State, they're going to hang around. They're going to rebound. If you mentioned who they're playing next, I apologize. I missed that. Who are the Wolfpack playing next?
Haven't got to that yet.
Okay.
But they do play North Carolina on Sunday, 3:30 Eastern time, and that should be a very good one. North Carolina just had a nice win tonight as well against UVA. They won 70-59, so that should be a good matchup. Obviously, that's why I said I need to be careful saying North Carolina when I meant North Carolina State. But one last thing on Latson, we talked about she's had some bad games. Really, Boston College was really only, if you want to even call it a bad game, where she scored 10 points. All season long, there's only been 2 games where she scored less than 20 points. That Boston College game at 19, the other one was a 19-point game. So, I mean, basically just right there. So, with the exception of that Boston College game, she's been very consistent in the 20, 25. Even she got a few 30-point games. Her high this season is 34 points. That 31-point performance against a pretty top-ranked NC State, number 11 in the country, is just a fantastic feat for a freshman, let alone any player in college basketball right now. I'm looking forward to seeing this NC State and North Carolina matchup. I think that can be a really big game. They could really set up some things in the ACC moving forward, Steve.
Yeah, I want to go back to Latson for a second. Do you have her field goal percentage overall?
Her field goal percentage.
Yeah. On the year, because again, she's not afraid to shoot, and that's what if you've got a freshman that's not afraid to take an available shot. I mean, I don't
Mhm.
think I haven't heard anything bad saying that she's forcing shots or that she's a gunner is someone that will just take a shot no matter what. I mean, someone who's not afraid to shoot is way different than a gunner. And I wouldn't say Latson's a gunner, but I was just curious as to what her overall field
Yeah.
goal percentage is.
Yeah, her overall field goal percentage so far this season, 48.4. She's also
Ooh.
37.7% from beyond the arc, and she is shooting a very impressive 86.1% from the charity strike. So very good numbers for Latson on this one. Again, I'm screaming that she is right now the front runner, and I don't know if it's even close. Let me know if you're watching here, if you think there's anybody that can compete here. I don't know if there's anyone close to Latson for being the National Freshman Player of the Year right now. Let us know your thoughts about this game, about Florida State and NC State. You nervous about the Wolfpack as they suddenly start slipping down the numbers here after this loss in the ACC? Or how about now 5-1 in the ACC, Florida State? What do you think about this squad? What do you think about the outstanding freshman in Latson? Go ahead, hit and like and subscribe. Leave some comments down below while you're there. And thanks for watching Slasher U.